Welcome to the Mystery Channel, where the veil is thin and the echoes of ancient knowledge speak through myth, magic, and the turning of the cards.
I live in Berlin for 1 month or two. I live in Paris. I stay often in Amsterdam, and I absolutely love and adore. Then I live in the States. I spend 3 months, 4 months, the maximum I could stay with touristic visa, and I love it.
Yeah.
I really love it. So I know, I was in New York a lot of time. I worked there for a while as an artist, having exhibition, collaborating with other artists and everything. Then Washington, D.C., and then all the states around, even the center, like the Bible Belt. I was in Indiana, Ohio, and oh my God, Chicago is in Illinois. Every time I have to think, where is Illinois? Chicago. Every time I don't remember the name of the state. So all around there. And then I ended up my living in the States in Portland, Oregon.
Yes. Oh, that's a fun area. I love
Oh, yep.
Yes.
And I screened my film. A center, there was area for screening film and everything. Then there was the magic shop, and I love it. And actually, then there was a nice shop. I don't remember the name now. There in Portland, and they screened my film several times. So it was a show.
Yeah, that's a beautiful. I love Portland too. It's such a beautiful area. Yes.
Yes, I like it. So
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of time, then I'm not 10 years, then I miss it from the States. But anyway.
Well, if you ever get back, I'm everywhere. So, and I love.
Yeah. I would like to. Not this year, of course. Is ending, and I have already organized too many things. But soon,
Yeah.
hopefully soon.
They're doing a lot of artistic stuff now between I was putting the two names together, Portland and Las Vegas, where they're doing living art now. So like it's like
Oh,
labyrinths.
nice.
I don't know if you've seen that, the labyrinths of living art. Because when I look at your work too, I always think of that like you're walking through. Like the last one I went to was in Las Vegas, and it was a dream world. So there was 9 different rooms you went through that were dreams, and it was like walking
Oh,
through
wow.
dreams
I
together.
love this kind of stuff. I really love them.
Yes, it was so amazing, like on how you pictured somebody's dreams. I'll have to send you the pictures because I took a ton of pictures. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, but it reminded me of your work because I always feel like whenever I'm looking in your work, your books, the light and shadow, the Lenormand, that you're walking in a world. You can literally feel like you're walking in that. And it
Oh,
was funny
good.
because when I did talk to, tell Bjorn about you, that's the first thing I thought of was one, your work, but two, like you're actually walking through it, like at those art
Yeah.
exhibits I went to in Vegas, the labyrinths.
Yeah. No, I like visionary art, and I think my way of tarot is a way that walks through fantasy and imagination, and I think this is very, very important because it's the source of storytelling. So, is an approach that is a little bit on the fantastic, but I use the fantastic, the imagination, to try to understand better the reality. So, is like a philosophical thought or experiment, a philosophical experiment. It is intriguing.
Yes. And I think that's why that your work is so fascinating because you do start with not just the art but the tarot, but then you do the thinking part, like weaving all of it's like alchemy. It's like you're literally doing
Yeah,
alchemy of so much. Oh, go ahead.
but I think it is. I started to shift toward the arts when I was working, but the idea was it was soon after university. I was saving money to go to the Columbia University and take my PhD in philosophy there. So when I started to shift it to arts, for me it was a visual representation of thoughts, ideas, experiment, concept, and I think that part is stayed with me very, very deeply because even if my world is a fantastic world, the background is always a philosophical question or a philosophical approach to life. So it's very introvert, so meditative if you want.
So, because I know like you did that. So you started with art then, or did you start it with the philosophical side and then got to tarot later? Like, because
Yeah.
it kind of all weaves together that you don't know where one begins and one ends, but it's like amazing.
I started tarot quite late because it was already 10 years that I was doing exhibition and printing books and creating my world, having exhibition in museums and creating a lot of stuff, films and everything. animations. But then I wanted to create an exhibition that was like a celebration of my childhood, because my mother brought a lot of magic into it, because she was a tarot reader, she was a spiritualist, she was crazy. I mean, crazy in a nice way. She was doing seances. So at night, a lot of very crazy stuff happening in my house. And then there were ghosts coming and going. There were a lot of rituals that my mother used to do. So I wanted to celebrate the magic of my childhood, and the perfect way for me was reinterpreting tarot. For me, it was just an exhibition about tarot. And then I started to think about who invented tarot. So I invented an alchemist that invented tarot. I started to write his alchemical book, his grimoire. And then I started to create a documentary that is a mockumentary, because it's a fake documentary, where I started to invent characters and professors tried to crack the code. And then all the story exploded in my mind. And after 3 years of work, the Lost Code of Tarot, the Book of Shadow, the Lost Code of Tarot was born. And this was the beginning of my entry into tarot. And then it became a fascination, and I started to study more and more and more, and I'm here.
Yeah. Yes, I love that.
Interesting take on things. Really.
Yes.
Yeah, life is strange, because I wanted to do my PhD in philosophy. I never thought to do something else. But at the end, I never took my PhD, and I don't regret it. I started to write poetry books, short stories, graphic novels, and I love it. It's far more fun. And I never stopped studying, but I studied because I wanted to, of the things that I like. And I mean, I have a lot of interests, different interests. And every time, if you notice in my tarot, I spread my interests. When they shift and change, you see reflected in what I'm doing. And I think I like that, because I'm an independent artist. It means that I remove myself from the gallery of art ambient that I not always like. I work in different ways. Sometimes I rent a place, I do an exhibition, I sell everything there, and that's all, because I don't look for the prestige, the recognition on everything. I look for fun. I want to have fun. I have fun in creating, and I don't like middlemen. So even with publisher, it's very rare that I work with a publisher. I work with a publisher that I like, and they like what I'm doing, and let me free to create what I want. Otherwise, if you see, almost all my deck were self-published, because in this way I can do the graphic novel. If you propose now to a publisher with a tarot deck that is coming with a graphic novel, and the graphic novel is the real book of magic, because through the adventure explain you why tarot are magic from different point of view, they say you are mad. Why? Many point of view, we need just one. Not a graphic novel. Write the meaning of the cards. And so, but this is boring. Mm-hmm. This doesn't make people think. I don't want to give people like a pill. This is many people think about tarot like a pill. You have a doubt in occult, you want to know the future or whatever you want, you take tarot like a pill, and you have all the description, every single card with the meaning and everything. But occult and tarot are far more than that, are questions. The answers are very, very little and always partial. So I prefer to write something that opens the mind and let you see things from different point of view, and then you decide which one is the best for you. And then I leave a lot of question open, because I prefer people to approach tarot with a lot of question and not being able to answer in a definitive and absolute way, because that would be the death of everything. It's more interesting when you make people think about the value of tarot, about the meaning of tarot. I mean, a few days ago, I had a very strange meeting, because it's not easy that I do tarot reading. I love it, but I don't have time, and I prefer creating stuff. But sometimes I like the approach with people and everything. And I have the most awkward meeting ever. A woman sit in front of me, and she said, "You already know everything, so tell me." I said, "What?" I said, "What? What is your question?" "Oh, you don't know my question?" No, how can I know your question? This is not the way tarot should be used. And then I realized she was victim of different scams, or people that say, "Oh yes, I see the future." And when she said, I said something about her husband work, she said, "But she is retired, he is retired, you didn't know it." I said, "Lady, I don't know anything. Not about the past, not about the future, not about anything. Tarot are here to help you to realize something that is important for you. I just the intermediate, the one that read the cards for you. Is if the future was already written, it would be tragic, our life, because we will have no power whatsoever. Tarot are a mirror. You have to look in the mirror and have to be bold enough and check inside yourself. I prefer psychological readings. I don't approach tarot like what will be. It's best say, if you want to achieve a goal, ask tarot what you should do to achieve that goal, not if you achieve it or not. This is for me, it's bullshit. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Because it means that the future is already written, and this is impossible. Is an impossibility, a logic impossibility. So I prefer a totally another approach. For me, it's more magical, but for other people, not. But then I understand a lot of people approach tarot with a lot of needs. They need answers. She even asked me, can you tell me when my husband will die? And I said, no, even if I knew it, I will never tell you. Because it will take away the taste of life. You have to live like if should die tomorrow or today in 5 minutes. So enjoy every single second for all the years that you are being granted. And don't ask for more, don't ask how many they are.
Is that what you want to express in your work in the end?
At the end, yes. I like to provoke people. I like to provoke conversation, provoke question, doubts. I would like people to approach in a critical way whatever is in front of them. It can be occult, it can be a ghost story, it can be a mystery, it can be everything. Mystery channel, I love that. Mysteries are incredibly important in our life because it's the unknown that push us forward. The unknown for the future, the unknown for the result of something that we like, or the unknown like a mystery to solve. But there is a way to approach mystery that is healthy, and there is a way that is just a scam, or that is just an illusion. Is difficult. I love that. I love occultism, but I love so deeply that for me it's very important because occultism is like the answer, an alternative answer of the same question that religions want to answer. So it's very, very interesting. I always say, when people say, but what do you believe? Do you believe in ghosts? I always reply, I prefer to live in a world where ghosts are between us because it's more romantic, because it helps me through my day, because I prefer to know that my deceased ones are still here, lingering some way, or can communicate with me, instead of living in an ultra-scientific world where only the things that you can prove are real, because this will be a very meager life, a very sad one, and above all, I studied science for a lot of time. My field was philosophical of language mixed with philosophy of science. And so if you study this kind of stuff, you know that scientific doesn't mean sizzling rock once forever. It means something completely different. It's a probabilistic studies. It's a study that is evolved. And this doesn't mean that it's not important or is not truth. But our truth is never absolute. It's changed every time. Think about geometry. If you think about geometry, you think about the Euclidean geometry, the classical one. It's good, it's perfect, you can do a lot of stuff. But if you want to send a rocket in the space, you don't use the Euclidean one. You use the non-Euclidean. I don't remember now if it's the Lobachevsky or the Ryan one. But anyway, you use another system of reference. And this is fascinating because one cannot be translated in the other. There are two different systems, but they are equally true.
Yeah, and
it's great.
Humans are intrinsic devotional because even if they don't believe in whatever spiritual thing, they make science religion.
Yeah.
A football club or the Kardashians.
Yeah, but I think this is the worst part of us as human, because when we are shaking in our world, we need a point like now I'm missing the words in English, sorry. is there and is like a pillar all around to build around and on top of it to build all the system of our life. But again, I think that if you open your mind, you will realize that you don't need this kind of pillars, that you can live in a floating world, that you can live without certitudes, because at the end, the only certitudes we have in life is that one day we'll die. There are not many other certitudes. So it's why we always need it. Because we never grow up, maybe. Because we always have a wrong education in family, in school, in our society. Because if we were taught to be independent, to explore in the world, we will live in a completely different way.
All societies really did that organically, I think. Living in a metaphysical world, having a myth, a ritual, symbol, and make it as a wall so you can step into the world now and forever in the eternal myth and all that.
But absolutely. But I'm very critical about society, not because I don't like it, but because I think our society is inherently wrong, is built in a wrong way. And you see it because there are lots of people that are not happy. When you don't build a society that allow people to realize their full potential and their dreams, we live in a wrong society. Now, consumerism is not good. It's not good at all. When they tell us every single day that to be happy, you have to have expensive cars, expensive clothes, and status symbols, you have an empty life. And always you chase something that will never make you happy. Yeah. So, this is not my life. I've always been very, very critical. So,
and do you make that art, you make it really for yourself or for someone else?
When I create something that I like, and something that, it's difficult to explain, because I can say what I don't do. I don't do art for fame or money, because I always believe that fame and money are as a consequence of a good job. So I focus on the concept, I focus on the delivery, and usually I create what I like. I would like, I want to read a story about tarot, and I don't find it around. I created it. I have ideas, and so I created it. Then I totally focus and I lost in that zone. I really live in another world. There were moments when I was cooking and I was talking with the characters of my stories, or maybe they were talking and they were telling me the story. Oh, this is what happened. And I was there trying to, stop cooking and stop writing down, because for me, they become real people. They will talk to me. And so I love living like that. I'm lost in my world. So I create because I like it. I create because I cannot not doing it. Because when an idea is, the ancient Greeks always use an amazing metaphor to explain this kind of mechanism. They said the mania. The mania is something that possess you, don't let you live, don't let you free. And this is the muse talking to you. When the muse talk to you, you are not free. You cannot turn the face to the other side and do something else, because the muse is always there nagging you, and you have to do it. You have to create. You have to free your mind, because if you don't do it, you don't sleep. You cannot think. It's obsessive. You cannot think about other stuff. So then I create something. Then I deliver it to people. I try to create something that in a way that people can enjoy it, but I don't try to water my concept. Many times I was accused to be very intellectual or too difficult to understand my writing, because it's what it is. With time, I learned how to make it easier, my work, more accessible. But it doesn't mean that I dilute it, but I create notes, explanation, way, because there is something there are many things that I love, like Latin and ancient Greek. This is part of my culture. I studied in high school. I love heavy Latin sentences. Now I write in them and then I translate in them. And I try to make people understand the beauty of that language, the beauty of a mentality that is not here anymore, the beauty of a world that is not here, but shaped and is keeping shaping our life in every single aspect.
Yeah, I can grab that. And what specifically has tarot opened up for you on an already philosophical mind? As I hear, what was the extra? Did it give you other insights or a means towards something What specifically made tarot change your insights or the way you stand in your profession?
I think that I was deeply fascinated by the occult from my childhood. So there are things that deeply attract me, like seances. I always, a little bit macabre in my interest, maybe with the occultism, but I really love seances. I really love this kind of stuff because they are, I don't know, there is a side, in part they are spooky, the mystery of that. They are scary because for me they are scary. But the other part is attract to know, attract to the question, the mystery. And tarot for me are, first of all, they're incredibly visual. And I love that. I'm a very visual person. So if you think about all the symbology that are in tarot are fascinating. And they are deep in history. And I love them. So for me, it started, my mother used tarot when I was a kid. And I used it even in ways that were quite funny because she used tarot to tell us stories or used tarot to say, it was late at night, she was doing tarot, and she said, I see in the cards that it's time for you two, me and my brother, to go to bed. And I liked that because it was full of magic. And if tarot tell you that it's time for you to go to bed, how can you stay up late? Of course you go to bed. So it was the mystery of the occult. It was always there. It was always lingering in our house. And I loved that. And then when I start to create this exhibition that never came because it became the Book of Shadows with the film and then the graphic novel after years and everything, the more I do, the more I see things. The more I see things, the more there are nuances and layers and layers. It's like falling into the rabbit hole. You think to have said everything and then you discover that you have said nothing at all. There is a lot of study there to do. And then it's just your vision, your partial things, because whenever I create something like, as I said, like tarot, I don't want to give definitive answers. So I like to see what people see in my cards, how people read my cards. Because many times they see in the cards that I created with something in my mind, emotion, idea, concept, symbology. They see something completely different. And sometimes they ask me, oh, but I'm wrong. I say, no, you're perfectly right. This is the beauty, that you see something that is different. Like every time I see, clay paintings or whatever art paintings, I see something completely different from what he wanted maybe to convey or he had in mind. This is the beauty of art, of music and everything, because it's a universal language, but there are nuances, there are aspects that only few maybe can grasp, or we grasp every time different things. Every time you read a classic, you discover something completely different. After maybe 2,000 years and a half, we are still talking about Greek myth, and every time we reinterpret them in a complete different way. And every time there is something new. This is powerful. This means
that's the magic that's a magic of a symbol or a myth, because in the end, a myth always have a symbol structure, so same as like the Arthur legends or all that, but they soak up through time a lot of information, as do symbols, but they also lay stuff off. But it's always in the eye of the beholder what you take from that. That's something really magical.
Yeah, but in effect, when people say tarot are magic, if we want to be absolutely precise, it's our mind that is magic. Tarot are just a mirror of our mind, and this is the reason why I keep stressing the pivotal concept behind my work in the esoterica and in the occult. The important thing for me is that magic is a science of the imagination. Imagination is not something that we have to put in contrast with truth. If it's imaginary, doesn't mean that it's not real. Not at all. The imagination is our biggest ability. Is the ability of conceive, visualize in our mind things that are still not yet. Before building an airplane, we have to conceive it. We have to invent it. And this is the biggest thing. This is an act of imagination. And an act of imagination like that is an act of magic.
Especially with how you perceive it. Because then that goes back to what you're saying with society things too. That's just how somebody decided to perceive it and everyone fell in line instead of everyone doing their own unique thing.
Yeah.
But is it possible for everyone to see the beauty in art or to even experience art? Art as big as possible as you see it. Because what is in the end the definition definition of art and hasn't a definitive definition at all.
No, yeah, exactly. If you think about, I don't know, Duchamp created art, but even Leonardo da Vinci. And if you think about classical and Renaissance art with Duchamp, there is a gap. Yeah. I mean, the urinal of Duchamp is an act of rebellion, but is art or not? I think someone will see it as an artistic art and someone else not. It depends on us. Our concept change. What I don't like is the market of art. Is when instead of doing something to communicate and to do something because to be truthful to yourself, you do it for money. You do it for the. Now art is a commodity. If you enter in a gallery of art, I mean, I did it for many years because I lived like that for too many years. I went to Berlin, to New York, to Paris. Every time I was entering different art or gallery of art, collaborating with them on everything, and every time I saw the same things created by different artists, but the things that were just the same, like a painted garbage bag. And you say, okay, but I see already everywhere in the world, why are you selling it? This is not art anymore. This is just, I don't know how to say it, not using French. For me, it's just bullshit. You as a gallerist, pretend this is art to sell something. Is market. Real art is not like that. Real art is the things that you watch and you start crying or move you so much that change your world or change your mentality or capture so well an emotion that you have that you cannot live without that. You will remember for the rest of your life. And it can be the urinal of Duchamp, or can be the Mona Lisa, or can be something else. Every one of us has a different sensibility of different love. I mean, I don't like the 700. I really don't like it. But I love Renaissance and Middle Age art a lot. Or I love abstractism, but it 1900. Yeah. So every one of us is different. I love the Bauhaus a lot. I built my style studying the Bauhaus or the Blaue Reiter, this kind of movement. So 1920, 1930s. For me, this is the explosion of art. If I recognize my feelings in that painting, I recognize myself.
And the Art Deco is also a really great.
Yeah. I prefer more I like it. I mean, there are moments of life when you prefer one style instead of the other one. I mean, I grew a lot. I mean, I change a lot my taste because sometimes you need something new or you explore. I mean, when I was a kid, there is Mozart. I mean, teenager Mozart for me was everywhere. I was listening Mozart. Now Mozart, I cannot stand it anymore. I prefer another kind of artist because my style evolved or my taste evolved. I found it boring. And many people will kill me for that. They say, oh, Mozart, you find... Yes, I prefer Schubert. I prefer other things. I prefer Rachmaninoff. I prefer other artists. But it's now. Me in the future will say, no, I prefer these other things now. And I think it's great. We are here to discover things and not to stick there to love one thing for the rest of our life. I mean...
No,
you're a free spirit, a free thinker.
Oh, totally. I mean, this is the reason why I don't live in my country.
That's very clear. Most people are not that way. That's also the disadvantage. So I agree in everything you say, but in the end, if they want to sell art and all that, like 80 or 90% of people, they don't have an own meaning, or they just follow the alpha monkey that gets on the rock and beats his chest and say, okay, this is the next big thing.
Yeah, but I think I was incredibly lucky because something tragic. It's not tragic, but something very problematic happened very soon. Because when I was a teenager, I discovered, of course, to be homosexual. Not of course, I mean, because that is the age when the hormones explode. Instead of, try to modify it. I mean, I fought it, of course, because it was a different time, a different country. It was very difficult to be gay in Italy. There were no role models. It was incredibly tough. But instead of biting or beating myself for that, instead of castigating me for that, I said, okay, I'm completely different. And the idea of being different forced me, because there were not rules, there were not models, there were not people talking about it, it was a taboo, forced me to ask me what kind of life I wanted to live, what kind of shape I want to give to my love, free love, monogamistic love, what kind of love I want to have, what kind of relationship I want to have, with what kind of man, what kind of life I want, what kind of job, what is the value of my life. And I discovered that everything I did before, then study philosophy helped me a lot together. I rejected everything. I rejected the idea that I have to work for money, that I have to have a house, that I have to maintain a family. I said, well, why I have to spend a lot of money to possess a house? It's not so much better to travel the world instead of using the money to buy something. I discovered the pleasure of living small, in little places, bringing little stuff. The only things that was manifold in my house was books, hundreds and hundreds of books. This was the biggest weight I always carry with me. But apart that, I like my freedom, and I always live with the idea that if Bollywood called me tomorrow to create the main title of a film, I move immediately. I go there, and I don't care about what I leave behind. I want to be free to leave everything behind, go there. So you move from the house, you give it back to the owner, and you go free. And from there, you decide where to go. And I live like that all my life.
Light traveler.
Yes.
Yes, but I managed to do it without giving up what for me is one of the most important things, love. Love for friends, love for my family members, love for my lover. I'm in a relationship with the same boyfriend around 17 years now. So I said, but we live in different continents. I live in Europe, so England is still part of continent. It's not part of the European Union, but yes, it's still part of the European continent. But we managed to explore life together, to live together when we can, to travel together when we can. We never give up to our love. And I think now people want everything without making sacrifices. I made all the sacrifices necessary to reach the point when I'm here. I always dislike living in Italy. I like staying there, but not living there. And I always do all the sacrifices necessary to free myself. Even if we wanted to meant to save money for years to be able to go away, I did it. And at the end, I left. And I lived when I wanted to live. And I think this is, if you want something, you have to fight for something. I always have artistic friends. Have you ever seen the feet of a dancer?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
When you see the feet of a dancer, you scream because you say, how can you walk? It's impossible even to dance, but they are completely destroyed, full of blister, it's tough, it's hard, but when you see them dancing, they are lighter than light, they are beautiful, they are amazing. But they reach that point because they go through all the sufferance, the technique, the repetition, infinite repetition of movement, till your body collapses. I admire that.
Yes. It's amazing. At least you can see that, because a lot of times when you see somebody's work, you don't see the struggle. With the ballet dancers, you actually see that struggle and then where they get to. So that's kind of, artistic on itself.
But what is important for me, or is what matters for me, that the struggle, even if it's painful, is not hopeless, is not a pain, is not sorrow. Of course you suffer there, but you do it with a vision. So the vision sustains you. It's like when people don't understand why I work that much, or like why artists work that much, because when you work, it's like playing. At least for me, it's like playing. So a kid is never stopped, he's never tired to play. So I don't see time passing, I see ideas coming. And so one of the most magical periods of my life, when I was creating the graphic novel, I was able to go to 6 in the morning, drawing till 2, 3 in the morning, and then feel incredibly tired. And then looking at the clock, I say, gosh, I don't even have the food today. Time flew. And you raise your eyes from the paper and you say, why is it so dark? What happened? Oh gosh, a day is gone. This is what happened. But this is what is beautiful, when you're completely lost there in your world.
That's also magic.
Oh, yeah.
And I often see that if you have a very good contact with someone, very good talk, or if you are in a special state of mind, it's like the experience of time is totally different. Yes. If you have a good time, if you see something where you have a real good and deep connection with, you begin on 8 p.m. in the evening, and before you know it, it's like 12 at night.
Yeah, but this is the reason why I always wanted a dog, and I always try to have a dog in my life, even if he's traveling and everything, because I need something to ground me, to give freedom. to otherwise really it can be dangerous when you don't remember to eat or you are too much lost in your water. So the dog is the thing that helped me to be a little bit more grounded and to be focused on other things too. Otherwise really you are lost in a journey that is absolutely fantastic. I will never, complain, but it's not healthy. You have to balance life. Life is not just work and dreams, even if at the end, I don't know an artist that is not obsessed. From my actor friends, the dancer, the musician, whenever you call them, the musician is always there trying to perfect his music. And even if, you cannot do differently, is impossible.
So you say that love is a big part of your life. Is that a necessity to have a qualitative, useful life, experiencing love?
I think love, yes, but for me love is love for life. It's not just love for a person, it's love for life. So how can I explain? Let's say that there are things that I don't understand. I really don't understand. Like, I live here in England, and in England there are a very specific lack of national cuisine. You cannot call it cuisine what they do in England. It's just food. And anyway, it's peculiar. Let's say that England, I love it. I really love it, but it's not famous for the weather. A good weather, no, you don't find it. A good food, well, no. As an Italian, I found incredibly difficult to frequent people that never taste food coming from other countries. Because when I say the love for life, for me is the incredible, insatiable curiosity for everything that I have not yet tried. That is a food, that is music, that is a language, everything. I'm incredibly curious. And I think when I speak about love, I speak about that. Is the absolute love for life, the want to explore everything without trying to see the world with open eyes, try to see the beauty in everything, try to see even the ugly in everything, the bad parts, and then decide what you want, what you don't want. Try to navigate it. Imagine how many years you can live. It's incredibly short. If you want to taste every single food, if you want to listen to every music, if you want to see every single place and create everything you have in your mind, time is incredibly precious. There is one thing that I don't like and make me incredibly furious is the waste of time. I hate wasting time because you can make money, but when you lose time, no one can give you back that time. It's lost forever.
Yeah.
Time is the most important asset if you look at it from above.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, something you can never get back. That's why I always picked my career early on, because I wanted to travel everywhere. So picked the life of a gypsy so I could travel everywhere for the past 22 years and just live how I wanted to.
This is amazing. No, this is amazing. But I think at the end, there is not right or wrong in this way, in the decision we do. There is right or wrong when you do harm to others, when you disrespect, when you use others. But if you want just to explore, why not? We are not here to fulfill duty toward a society that is like a cage.
Yeah.
We are part of a society because we are human beings. But with our beliefs, with our work, with following our dreams, we can change society. We can change in better, hopefully. Peacefully, even.
But do you think that it's a philosophical open question that we have to detach from society?
I think we have to build a better society. Because imagine a society where we don't need to work for sustain ourselves, but we work doing what we love. Now we are reached a point when the robot and automation can do all the most repetitive and boring job in life. So every one of us should have the duty, the right to discover what they like. If you want to write poetry, you write poetry. If you like to invent things, an engineer, you do it. But it's different. And I always, when people hear me talking, they think that I'm a rich, privileged white guy, but actually, it's exactly the opposite. My family was quite poor. I'm coming from a working class family. We were my brother and I were able to study at university because we have two options to do university. Work and so sustain ourselves and study, but it means slow down our study. And my brother and I were very, very focused and very motivated. So we decided differently, taking every one of us took his own decision, but what the end was the same, to be so good, to be paid from the state to keep studying. And this is what happened. We were very, very good. We are proud of that because we study a lot. We put more effort, so we were not burden our family. And I mean, when we was a kid, my father was working in a factory. There are periods of time when there are lots of trouble in Italy, the late 70s and everything. So the gas crisis, the petrol crisis and everything. My family, I remember we were joking about it because we referred to it the great caresty because we were eating potato every single night. And it's this, I hated potato after a while, but there was nothing else to eat. I mean, I'm proud of it. I mean, I'm really, really thankful to my mother that managed to, with nothing, to keep going on a family of 4 people. Yeah. And I mean, there is no shame in poverty. There is pride. There are people that are not lucky. My father was not lucky in life. He has his life destroyed by many things. He studied in Buenos Aires. He lived there. He's an Italian. His family immigrated there when he was 3 months of age, and he came back when he was 16, 17. And in Italy at the time, all the studies were not recognized. So my father had all the future completely destroyed. So he had to work in a factory when he wanted to study. And he was not the happy person you ever met. He was he was violent, he was furious, he was not a good father at all. But I understand him. I understand where that rage was coming from. Unfortunately, he was not able to deal with it. He's never grew up and died absolutely unhappy. And I'm sorry for that. But it's his path, it was his life. But at the end, when people said, oh yes, but if you're rich, you're lucky, Andrea, you can do what you want. No, it's not that. It's that if you really want to do it, you don't see excuses. You don't look for excuses. I mean, when I started to be an artist, I have something like 300 euro in my bank account. I didn't have a job anymore because I have lost my job as a copywriter. And I said, well, I don't look for another job. I live doing what I wanted to do instead of be underpaid. And I still remember my mother looking at me and says, Andrea, how you will survive? And my answer was, I have no idea, but I know what I want to do. And from that moment on, I live only doing artistic jobs. Sometimes it was on exhibitions, I was at the cover of a book, sometimes was an animation for the theater. I always paid the rent. I always paid my bills. I always went on.
So you trust. Is that your secret? You trust.
Yes, you have to. And at the end, I managed to reach the point that I wanted to reach. It's just a matter of will. Of course, you want to spend every single night partying with friends. This life doesn't fit in that mold. So you have to decide what is more important, your fun or your dreams. Sometimes you have to give up to everything to follow your dreams. If the price too heavy, then it's not a dream for you, or you're not able to dream, or you're not the right person for that dream.
Yeah, maybe that's also natural selection.
Yes,
if you are somehow strong enough to take all those hurdles.
Yeah, at the end, I don't want to judge people, and I don't like give judgment in this kind of matters. At least I think that every one of us has to watch themselves and every morning in the mirror and take a decision. Are you happy with your life? Yes, go on. No, try to change, to analyze what is you don't like and change it. Because there is no point in going on living a life that you don't like. It's the only one you have, so why you waste it?
Memento mori.
Yeah.
Exactly. Memento mori e carpe diem. Seize the time, seize the moment, because it's incredibly important. So now you know what moved me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very inspiring, Andrea. I really like how your approach on things. But you're obviously someone who can think very layered at the same time.
I like exploring. I like change ideas. I like to be challenged. What I like more in life in having friends that think about something in a different way of I'm thinking, and I like discussing with them, not to try to change their ideas or one day try to change mine, but to find discovering something new together and change. It's like when you go to I don't know, to see a friend and he's listening to a music that you never heard. I'm curious. I like it. I want to know more. I mean, this is the beauty. It's constant discovering. When I was in Italy, I used to do very, very crazy dinner party because I always have crazy friends in different artistic fields. So I used to invite everyone in my mansard, so slanting roof, all wooden. It was a very, very special place, very little but very, very beautiful. And I said, every one of us has to bring something little, because every one of us has to cook. And then we share everything and we learn something that we didn't know. So how to cook something different in a different way. And then I was inviting, I don't know, a dancer, a choreographer, a musician, a critic art and everything. And then we were talking. And a lot of collaborations, a lot of dreams were born in my house like that. And I love it. Because it was a regular meeting. I love it. It's like a salon, a literary salon. And I love it.
Yeah. Is it about the vibe? Maybe if you have a good vibe with people, that from there on, creativity just comes in a way not even understandable with your cognition.
Oh, it was an amazing night when you go there and you start to have a little bit of dream, and then someone else put another bit on top of it, and then someone else change everything, making it even better. And then it's like, I don't know, it's like an orgasm of the mind. Is incredibly powerful, is incredibly liberating. And when you create with someone, you really understand the person, because you see people that create for the joy of creating, then you see people that create for the, let's say, economical aspect, and you see the way they mind think, the way they want to use, the way they want to do stuff. There is always an economical aspect, of course, is important, otherwise you cannot sustain yourself. But when the economical aspect becomes the aspect and crash everything else, no.
Maybe it comes all down to, do you have courage enough to be laughing stock?
Oh, yeah, I was for many times a laughingstock. In my family, I was the black sheep. I mean, I remember, and it's not nice to say, well, I try not to give too many references, because if someone of my relatives see the interview, it would be dangerous.
You can always edit it out.
Yes. No, let's say I remember.
You have 24 hours to think, and then it's done.
Yes. No, I remember members of my family or even friends mocking me and say, oh, when you put your hand in order, why you don't look for a real job, or you will do nothing in life because you are absolutely useless or stupid or something like that, only because I was looking for things that they were not understanding. And I'm sorry about that, because at the end, I mean, they made their choices and their choices are not mine. I don't criticize them for their choices. They do what they wanted. Someone want money because they needed solidity in their life. They are scared of being without money. When you are without money for a long time, when you travel in different countries, when you live in different places, you discover even, yes, the lack of money is hard, is tough, but you always survive. You always survive. I mean, I was scared by this aspect in life, to ended up like a clochard. It was my horror. I mean, there was a period of time when I woke up at night screaming for the horror, for the fear not to be able to pay my bills and everything. The beginning it was incredibly tough. But at the end, you discover that you survive. At the end, you discover that it's not important what you can do or what you can do economically, because if you take charge of the things that are necessary, the expenses of food, all the rest is a plus. And for a certain period of life, you can live without the plus. And so I did. In certain period of time, life was tough. And then I recover, and then I explore, and I did things. I mean, but I never give up the dreams. This is the things that I'm really, really glad that I never give up the dreams.
Yeah, that's great. And that's also great advice for the listeners. So, and that's really encouraging to put through even in hard times, you know. But in the end, the real richesse you cannot buy with any money. I, as a therapist, and you know, I do a lot of also high-end clients, you know, seeing them for long-term counseling and all that. But, often people who have a lot of money, but when they work here with me, they are poor.
No, yeah,
On the real human feelings, they don't have love, they don't have ease of mind, they don't have friendship. Yeah, and if people also know that you have a lot of money, that also comes with a downside, because you don't know why people are close to you, because they all know, okay, he can be the next level up, or
it's a responsibility too. It's a burden.
Often.
You never know if your friends are real friends, or they are friends because they want your money, or your power, or your fame, or your charm, or whatever. Is always like that. So I think every one of us has to find his own balance. And at the end, every choice we make, in the good and bad, we always have to pay a price for that. The real point is, how do you feel about paying the price, and what do you think, if it's too much or not? I think the most important decision maybe every one of us has to do in life is, if you want to be controlled or live your life in fear, or if you want to live your life following your dreams. Because at the end, there are not many other options. I always see two kind of people. The one they are dominated by their fears, and the one they are dominated by the dreams. Look at what is happening now in the political situation of the world, when the Western world is collapsing, and is collapsing because there are some parties that are pushing the fears of people. They are pushing on them to control them. It is an history repeating. I mean, we don't have to go back in time. We think about fascism and Nazism, they did the same, and they won for a certain period of time. And I think
communism as well, so left or right, whatever.
Absolutely.
And it's always follow the money.
Exactly. But I don't want to be driven or be controlled by my fears. I try to follow my dreams and live in the light of my dreams. And of course, fears, it doesn't mean that I don't fear anything, because I have lots of fears, like every one of us. It's just a matter of be able to face them, be able to control them, and not being controlled by them. It's a balance.
Maybe fear is okay, but you just need a little bit more courage to the state of mind, and just do it anyway, even if your armpits like showering and your heart is bouncing. Just do it anyway, because you follow your ethics or your mission or whatever duty.
Yeah.
But a lot of people can't get past their triggers. That's why so many people stay there, because the triggers will keep them stuck for so long.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
And the other thing you said with people with fear and all that, I don't know how you think about that, Andrea and Morgan, but I often see that people project their fears on you. So you say, okay, I will go into art, or I will do something different on my work. And maybe it's your own, or often is the case that your own environment is not supportive, and they say, okay, but then you will have a hard time. Then, it will not succeed. Yep. But then they project their fears on you. So even if they want you to have a good life, they rather see you not succeed, because then they can be triggered that they have to be courageous as well. That's what I often see. And so most often, that discouragement comes from your own environment. Because if you want to escape the grey masses, they hang on to your trousers and keep you in place.
Yeah, unfortunately,
wrong people.
This is the reason why I wanted to move away from my country, to have a clear cut and say no. I don't want to live in that kind of society, because 10 years ago, I don't live in 10 years now in my country, but 10 years ago, Italy I think it was in a very bad place. And every time you just dress in a different way, or you do your own things, you follow your own dreams, they were accusing you to want to be better of them. They see difference like a guilt, like a sin, the sin to be like
shame.
Yes, and it's not nice. So they wanted to drag you down. When in England, being different is a virtue, and this is eccentricity is a virtue. And I never met so many eccentric people like in England. This is my place. I really love living here, because I saw things that really, I see everything here. People doing the craziest things on the street, people walking in crazy attire, in crazy way, and I love it. I really, really love it. Because if you don't judge them, like, oh, how can gay dress like that? But you admire the boldness and even the lack of good taste, of the excess of good taste, or whatever it is absolutely beautiful. And I love that. I mean, only in this country you can meet an old man walking in the woods with a camera filming, and when you ask him what he's doing, he tell you that he's creating fairies puppet and putting there, pretending to look for them, and he's an expert in fairies, and this is his hobby, and he's creating this kind of stuff for living. It's absolutely amazing. This is the way we should live, in absolutely crazy, fantastical, mythical way.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I love that.
You should invite us over, isn't it, Morgan, so that we can look through your window and see all those crazy people.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Like even the fairy thing, that would be like going down that rabbit hole, because that's what I've always wanted especially when I was younger, because I didn't have the best childhood. I was like, once I find Alice in Wonderland's rabbit hole, I'm going headfirst in and never come out, But it's creating it, like you said, you have to create that for yourself here in this time. There's no escape. It's just you have to find that yourself and create it.
Yeah, but at the end, it's beautiful. I mean, if you manage to do it, it's beautiful. But then there are many ways of creating a very creative life, not necessarily doing an artistic job. There are so many things that, I mean, one of my best friends, unfortunately deceased, it was, I don't know how to describe his work in English. He's the guy that changed the tire of your car. I don't know how to call it in English, the job position, I really don't know. He was reading Sartre and philosophy authors because he loved it. He has a university degree in literature, and he was doing what he really liked in life. He likes to be a mechanic, fix car, doing something like that. And this was his mission, he loved it. And then he has all the other pressure. So is it crazy to go to have your car fixed and talking about Sartre and philosophy and Shakespeare and something with someone that knows a lot about it? It was absolutely fun. But I loved that kind of stuff. He was doing what he loved and he was studying what he loved. So why not? Why he have to leave? He didn't want to have a job in a university because he didn't like it. He liked the scent of the car, the scent of tires. I remember he's describing the scent of an engine. He said, I loved that. I said, okay, why not?
I can imagine that, yeah.
That's really amazing too.
Is it about being authentic then, Andrea? What do you think?
What, sorry?
Is it about being authentic?
Yeah, we have to be authentic.
True to yourself.
We have to. We try to. But then again, what does it mean to be authentic to yourself? I mean, I think, there is I was reading something long ago, I don't remember, it was a psychological debate, something like that. It was very, very interesting because someone made a very nice note on the discussion. I say, okay, every one of us talking about to find yourself, to find your core of your personality. I say, you don't find anything. There is nothing there to be found. You have to build it. And this is an interesting idea because instead of find yourself, you build yourself. You think about what you want to be in 10 years, 5 years, and you go in that direction. Once, when my mother was in hospital, she was dying, unfortunately, in a very horrible and painful way. I remember to reach the room where she was, and at the hospital, I have to go through a long corridor. At the long corridor, the only things that you were listening were people screaming because we're furious, people that was incredibly rude with the nurses. They're old people, very old people. Everyone was suffering. There was no one that was reading a book, no one that was singing, no one that was smiling. Everyone was incredibly furious, incredibly depressed. I remember before entering in my mother's room, I turned back, I looked at the corridor, and I said, okay, if I reach this age, I want to be the old man that sing, that dance, that read poetry, that smile, no matter how much physically I suffer. I refuse to be like that. Because for me it was shocking. I don't want to die like that. I want to be a better person of what I am today. I don't want to reduce myself to be a grumpy old man, being incredibly offensive toward people that are just doing their job, like nursing doctors try to help you. It was shocking.
So that also comes down to love, that you have love, that you give also love to your environment, even people you don't know. Maybe something like the Greek agape, like
yes.
Amor.
Yes. It's difficult to. I think we live in a society that is incredibly difficult now because it's completely disconnected and is. is strange. I went away from London because I feel completely disconnected. I feel incredibly difficult to connect with people. And I needed to be in nature, I needed silence, I need to see the sea. And above all, I wanted to go in a place, like in a shop, in a bakery, and buy every single day the bread that I needed and have a little talk with the person. And not that every 2 months the shop has changed owner and everything is different again. And all the friends that you do today, tomorrow are going away because of the job or the things.
Mm-hmm.
Cities like that is like, I don't know, like an arbor. People coming and going. It makes you feel always not belonging to anyone or anything. I said, no, I don't like that. I love it for a while, but after a while I said, no, I need another life. And then I remembered Thoreau, the American writer, so living in the woods, what was called the wood? Walden living in the life in the woods, Henry David Thoreau. And I said, well, it was not that right, that wrong. I mean, go away from society for a while, live in an isolated place in the middle of the country, and rebuild yourself, your life, deciding what you want, dropping everything that don't belongs to you, and try to understand from that point where you want to go.
But it's also maybe important to have some surroundings though, since if you want to find out who you are, maybe that is also in resonance with the external world. That's the classical forming of your identity as well.
Oh yeah, if you want to know yourself, you have to challenge yourself. This is the point. You have to go out of the comfort zone. That is incredibly difficult because it's a fight. Every time is a fight. You go out of your comfort zone, then you create another one, and then you discover it, and then you have to fight against that one. It's like an onion. And you peel one layer and you find another one, but it is an infinite layer of that onion. So it is intriguing. But once you get in the mood of challenging yourself every time, I think it's interesting. I think I challenge myself a lot in art. It is the reason why I shifted a lot. When the biggest challenge was to find a style, to create my style, I was painting, oil on canvas. When I achieved the level that I wanted, I get bored and I started to do animation, study something new, then mixing what I learned there. And I think this is what drives me a lot, the challenge. I don't know what I will do tomorrow as an artist, but I know that I will change because whenever I need new challenges, I need new media, I need new way of communicating things or new things to communicate. I don't like the idea of doing the same things forever. But this is what the markets want you. If you're famous to paint houses, I mean, you portray houses in your painting, you have to do it for the rest of your life, because if you change, the market is not that ready to acquire that change, to metabolize that change.
Yeah, and there is also the bridge to even Darwin. So the more adaptive you are, the better chances you have.
Yeah.
Maybe that's also part of life. I'm far from a Darwinist. But if you can see life in different angles, you can see it pure material, and then it's also the case. That is the battle of the stronger, the one who can adjust him or herself.
Yeah, but I think this kind of adjustment and the ability to adjust has to be taught in family, in school, in society. This is when I say we are living in a wrong society, because now society, a school, let's say everything started with the school for me, with the educational system. If the family and educational system, if the educational system don't give you the tool to analyze reality, to approach reality with a critical eye and analyze things and understand things and see behind the surface, we live in a very dangerous time. And now these are the times.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, people are. Is that not the how you call it? Yeah, that they don't want to be, people not human anymore. How you call it?
AI.
Transhumanism is something.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially here, because whenever you have a different opinion, they just don't disagree with you. They attack you for it. It's kind of a really strange time with.
Yeah, because you have lost the ability of creating dialogue, meaningful dialogue. Now we are just talking to crush the adversary because we stop to see in the other person a friend or someone that can enrich you, enrich your life, but we see like an antagonist, like a competition. But life is not a competition in that way. I think the biggest competition is against yourself, your limits, your limitation. This is the challenge that I'm interested in. And this is maybe is the reason why I don't like sports like football or when you have a team. I prefer the sports when you are alone against yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. That's when you truly know yourself too, staying authentic. Because what's authentic for you would be completely different for every other person. So finding your
Yeah,
own.
it's a burden to be different and to think in a different way. You do, and when you do things in a different way, is when you don't fit in the box. It's difficult. You have a very tough life because people. I mean, I remember when I go to the galleries and they don't know how to show my art because, but you do animation, you do this, you do that, too much. Too much. Every time it was too much. Yes, it's too much because you don't know how to sell it or you don't know how to present it. For me, it's not too much. It's my world. It's
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said a good thing in regards of love. I think love, now, I think you're about to sound like an old hippie, or maybe I am an old hippie, but love in the end, it's also a mythology, and you see it in all those Indo-European pantheons. In the end, Venus conquers the harshness of Mars.
absolutely, yes.
And that's also the idea in medieval mysticism and all that. Like the Knights Templars. They were monks, but they practiced love, the love for the court, the love for the woman, the love for whoever is next to you. But they were also the ultimate warrior.
Yeah. The point is always defining the word love, because I think many of us confuse love with sex and possession.
That's the
Love
lower.
is beyond that. It's definitely beyond that. Above all, it's not possession. Is understanding. Is completely is feeling what the other person is feeling. Is being close. Is being empathic. Is supporting. Is a lot of stuff, but it's not possession.
So since you're a lover of philosophy, what about Emmanuel Levinas?
Well, say it again. Wait. What did you say? I misunderstood
So
something.
yeah, since we talk about love and I'm seeing the good and the bad, so I'm immediately thinking about Emmanuel Levinas.
Okay. Yes. No, I was thinking I think about him, but I was thinking about more the Greeks. This is no, when you say Emmanuel, I think Emmanuel can say, okay, no, yep. I think about the Greeks, because the Greeks talk a lot. I think about Plato. He talk a lot about friendship and love and the bond between, between men in this case, but is specific. But it was the bond with the person, and in that bond, democracy was born. There was the pivotal. The essence of philosophy. It was the friendship, the dialogue, the creating together, the talking together, the loving together, the fighting together and die together if was necessary. Is interesting. It's very interesting. I think now we live in a very, very strange world. It's very challenging. It's very fascinating. I mean, I like living in this very troubled waters, but because you can understand better a lot of stuff. When you a society under stress reveal its weakness and its real soul. So now I think is the time when we have to change, and it's fascinating. I think we are seeing the catastrophe of an ending of an era, and a new one is beginning. The point is not focusing on the one that is ending, but on the one that is at the horizon. What kind of society we want to build? This is the real question. It's like living during the fall of the Roman Empire. You cannot keep it together. It's falling. It's destined to follow. To fall. After a certain point, there is the point of no return. And I think we have reached it. And I think now is time for us to put ourselves in nature and not see ourselves like the masters of nature, but being part of it. Or we'll learn our lesson, or we'll be completely self-destroy ourselves. The challenge is put ourselves in nature, cooperate in nature. We cannot put ourselves in opposition. We cannot exploit nature. We are nature. If we destroy nature, we destroy ourselves. But
that's also the movement since since Enlightenment, but Enlightenment got really fanatical. It went the other way around.
Yep.
But then, from then on, people put themselves above nature and not within nature, in the structure.
Well, even
That's also something, if you put yourself out of nature, your own nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It can never be good for the long run, I think. And that's what I see. People are far removed from themselves. They're false gods, so to say, comfort, ego, all that, But I'm a therapist, and everyone is dressed okay. Everyone has a car. Everyone is well fed. But we have an a real disaster in regards of mental health. There's a real crisis. But because people don't have what's really necessary. They don't have rest. Family fall out of each other.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
I was listening a few days ago a beautiful interview to Harari, the writer of Nexus, and he was saying the big turning point on our society is that it became so fast that we cannot cope. And the idea that now we cannot never sleep because internet, because the social media, everything is hyper connected and 24/7. There is no rest. Everything is it's too much. It's too much for our mind. All the connection we have on, the friends, the followers, thousands of people, but we don't know them. We cannot even remember the name. We are not designed. Our brain is not built to keep in mind that kind of connection. We need other things. This is the reason why I said we are completely disconnected. So this is the big challenge. And I think this is the reason why a lot of people like me prefer to leave the big cities and live in rural area, because you immediately feel the switch off of everything. Quiet, serene, nature, different rhythms, different human relationships is at a certain point. I felt it. I felt the necessity to switch off. I love London. When I need, I go there. But I prefer to see hills and the sea from my window and nothing else.
City life, you can see that very good in statistics, correlates with depression.
Yeah.
Much more as living in a rural area. But that's also the proof. If we are really far away from our real nature, somehow to live in a small community around a sacred center, so to say. And I don't say that is be all end all, but that's good, I think, for a good structure overall. Yeah. And from there, there would be rebels like the three of us who would go outside that. Just as Nietzsche said, at a certain point you have to look behind the borders of your culture.
Yeah, of course.
Somehow I think it's important that you really grasp your own culture, so that you also can compare it new culture.
Absolutely.
As you throw your identity right away through the window, because you will jump on every next thing because you don't have identity of yourself.
But I think now we live in multicultural societies, but many times, when I moved to London, I have an idea of London that was completely different. I thought London was like New York. When you move to New York, live in New York, you are a New Yorker. Everyone is like a foreigner. Everyone is there for catching dreams. And I loved that spirit. It was like feeling electricity. I really love New York. I really love it. And I thought London was like that because it gives the impression to be like that. Then when you live it and you see that all the different communities, they don't talk to each other. While in New York, it was different. I have friends coming from all over the world. Everyone was a foreigner and everyone was a New Yorker. Everyone has a dream. And we were there to realizing our dreams. So there was something putting us together. And it was amazing. I never had so many friends. Easy to meet, easy to talk, I love living in New York. But unfortunately, I was living, but as a tourist, as an artist collaborating on 2 months, 3 months, and then go back to your country. So it's okay. It's not living permanently, unfortunately. But then London is different. Everyone is secluded in his own bubble. The Greek culture, the Greeks don't talking with the Turks don't talk with the Indian. The Indian don't talk. One day I was in an Indian shop because I wanted to buy spices. And this was the biggest place in that area of London. It was humongous. It was amazing. And I saw spices that I never heard of in my life. And then I saw a woman dressed in traditional Indian clothes. And she was buying something nearby. So I just go to her and said, "I'm sorry, madam." And she was immediately on the defensive, like, "What do you want?" And I say, no, I don't want to attack you or whatever. I love cooking. I'm an Italian and I never heard about this spice. How do you use it? What is for? What is the taste? I mean, I would like to buy it, but I think you know how to cook with it. And this woman started to tell me a lot of stuff and everything. And then she smiled, she changed completely. At the end, she said, it's 20 years that I live in this country and no one ever asked me anything about my culture. And I was completely shocked.
That's kind of sad too, though, because
It's sad.
there's so many stories, so many, I feel like there's a loss of that, not being able to talk to people about those origin things or what you even like about your culture, how you portray it out.
Exactly.
There's a great disconnect there. That is sad, because I love talking to people about their stories.
But this is the reason behind I wanted to create the magazine, the Discombobulator, because I said, okay, there are lots of people out there that are expert in myth, history, witchcraft, tarot, artist, alchemy. There are lots of occultism. There is esoterica. There are lots of people. But I would like to connect with people of different culture, different countries with different backgrounds, different religions, different way of spirituality. And this is the reason why I put together the Discombobulator. And so I started to spread the voice. I started to collect different articles. And now I have people that are writing from North America, Europe, Asia, Australia. Now I miss Africa and South America. And the next issue, I would like to talk about someone that maybe, I don't know, is creating tarot in Africa, or someone that is doing shamanic practice. I would like to talk with him and say, okay, tell me the story of your practice. Tell me something that can be interesting, can be inspiring. Because at the end, I mean, I have a very anthropological or psychological and historical approach of this kind of matter, but I think this is interesting, incredibly interesting. Try to discover even the reason behind the rituals, the reason why we do things that we do in the way we do.
Yeah, and then find comparisons in that, because that's also what I really like, the perennial philosophy, seeing or searching for the big denominators and all those rituals.
Or you think about psychology. Carl Gustav Jung, he was obsessed by different culture and the symbology, the archetypes of that. He was studying comparing the different culture, the different myths and everything. And there are lots of studies about different mythology, comparative studies, and you see the pattern of the human mind. You see that we have the same ideas, the same dreams, and this is what fascinated me. And this is what I want to go back in the magazine, because it's intriguing and people don't ask themselves this kind of question. And I think their mind will explode in a nice way. The vision will be widened with something like that. And I'm eager to test my ideas. And I mean, now I already printed the number 1 is here, the number 0, sorry, because it's the number 0 like the beginning of the Fool and the Tarot. I would like to, and I'm looking forward to build it up and see how this journey where we bring me.
Yeah, it's a really fantastic idea, especially if you can bring people together all over the world.
Oh yeah, that's very.
No, and that's a hard task with what you are saying, But here that's the same, like in Belgium and all that. We have a lot of foreigners, especially in the big city, and foreigners, from all over the world. But a multicultural society, that's something what does not exist in real life, because they are all societies being their own society within a society. So if you want to let a multicultural society work, we have to make a leading culture, because a multicultural society is not a culture.
No,
it's an anti-culture, I find. So don't get me wrong, I'm all for it, but a multicultural society does not work. And we often say that, because I'm also a Freemason, and in Freemasonry we don't discuss religion and all that. So we are sitting there with brothers, and one is from Islamic background, Jewish, whatever, heathen, but we don't discuss that, but we are all open-minded. So
because there is another ground.
Yeah, but we have a Masonic culture. You see rules and all that. So, and that's great to be part of. But we all say so. The Turk who is there, me as a Belgian, and all that. That we say okay, but the masses of my people are so stubborn. So that it does not work organically. And here it really works because we are open-minded, and we can all point the finger to our own folk in that regard. I think no one is better or worse than the other, but we also have to, instead of pointing the fingers to other, point towards ourselves. But we need a leading culture. I don't believe in a multicultural society. I hope for a society where we can all live together and learn from each other. But then we have to have a new culture, I think, not a multicultural.
Yeah. We create a culture with a dialogue with different aspects and with different cultures. The point is that now we are pointing the finger, stressing the differences instead of stressing the point in common. Because when you see that, I don't know, an atheist, a Jew, a Christian, and a Muslim, they have similar dreams. They want to be happy. They give maybe different shape to the happiness, but it's still happiness. They have the same fears. They all of them have seen someone they love dying. Some of them I see someone of they love. I mean, we are human beings, and this is the pivotal point. We are all doomed to die. We are always with the same. We face the same challenges. This is enough. All the rest is just coloring. Is just something that is not necessary. Because if you change, you can change all the culture you want. Every one of us has to face his own death and the death of the one they love. Every one of us. So we are temporary. We are here. We speak different languages, but the structure, the logic structure is the same. It's like you can paint, I don't know, with one media, I can use another one, but all of us are painting. If you think about, I mean, there are people thinking about mystery. They do horrible way that people always explain things that is incredibly obvious, like there are pyramids in Mexico, there are pyramids in Egypt. So there was Atlantis in the middle and they escaped. Oh dear. This is a beautiful story, but it's such a bullshit. There is an explanation that is incredibly easier. We are humans. Our brains is always the same, works with the same mechanism. So we see triangles and squares and round and circle and the same shape because we perceive the world in the same way. We interpret it physically. The brain interprets the same stimuli. So why there are pyramids in Mexico and in Egypt? Bah, why? Solve the mystery. Because we are humans, and humans create the same things, the same structures.
That's what I always say. You know, it's interesting in an anthropological way and in every way to see what people do all over the globe organically.
Yeah.
And even if you are somewhere deep in a forest, then always somehow the same thing. They seek a sacred center. No one has said that. You can see that in all those archaic societies. Yeah. The secret center, they have like a cosmogony, so how came the earth to be, and then they have a cosmology, how world is divided, and then they have goddesses representing fertility and all that, and there is a lot of different couleur locale. But there is an overall denominator in it, and especially you have, of course, in the perennial philosophy or perennial vision, people won't agree on that. The most untaught thing to say is that all religions are the same. That's definitely not true. But the inner circle of all those religions, the esoteric part, the mystic circles like Muslim Sufi, like Greek, German Männerbund, and all that, they have like that inner circle. That's really a big denominator. It's like aiming for gnosis, become gods. That's
because I think they are different answers to the same question. They are expression of the same need, and so they are similar. I mean, if you think about, I don't know, a Franciscan mystic and a Sufi, they are completely different system of beliefs, but they are incredibly similar. There are moments where if you don't know one and the other, and you see writing something, and they don't know something specific like the name name of God or something like that. You remove that, but take the essence. You can change the words of one and put it in the mouth of the other, and they agree. Because at the end, this is fascinating. I think this is the reason why I believe in multicultural society. But what the multicultural society that I have in mind is when the different cultures don't think to be superior or right and the other wrong, because this is the point. But of course, our brain is an ancestral. Everything that is different is seen and perceived immediately as a danger, because this is the way you survive. But now thousands of years pass when we need to survive in the jungle and see different things, whatever is different as a danger. Now we can overpass that very, very easily. But it's a matter of education. It's a matter of being told to be that. I mean, I live in England now. There is this raise the color, proud to be English. And honestly, I don't understand it for one reason. How can you be proud of your nationality? You have no merit. You're born there by accident, by chance. So if the chance were different, you would be maybe in India and you would be proud to be Indian. You can be proud of something that you have done, not of something that you have no merit. It's like to be proud to have, to be blonde. Are you an imbecile? How can you be proud to be blonde? It's something that happened to you. You can be happy, but proud? I will never be proud to be an Italian, not because I despise my country, but because I have nothing to do with that. I've done nothing. I can be proud of the achievement of my culture, but in say so, I will never do it in a nationalistic way, because the Indians, in India, they create a culture that is rich in the same way. Half of the religion of the world on board there. It's fantastic. If you go to Guatemala, you can find amazing culture there. It's not the one is superior of the other. It's not the one nationality is better than the other. For me, it's bullshit. Nations are not necessary. We need a law to organize our society, but don't need nations. Absolutely, we don't need it. And then when I have friends that are ultra-nationalistic here, unfortunately, and then I always say, yes, okay, you are proud and you think about a nation, but the accent of London, the culture in London is not the one of Newcastle, of Durham, or Manchester. The accent is different, the history is different, the culture is different. Living apart Wales and Scotland that are completely different. So it doesn't exist. The nationality is just an abstraction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have a good point there.
Think about nationalism is never bring something positive in history. Think about, Italy was very nationalistic during the fascism. Then ultra-nationalism brought Italy in power. No, I don't need nations. We don't need it. There are just structures. But it's very crazy and very sad that someone thinks that their nation can dominate the other or has the right because they are better. And this is a problem of culture too. There are not culture that is better than the other. There are just cultures that are different. And I see beautiful aspect in the Chinese culture that I miss not having in my Italian one and the English one. But I don't think that they are superior. I think just they are different. And I like shifting from one culture to the other and learning and using. If you hear me talking, I use words many times from different languages, from Spanish, from Latin, from Greek, from French, because they are concepts that have not a correspondent in the language that I'm talking now, that is English. So
I definitely get that.
What do we have in the pipeline for the coming periods? Can you lift the veil for the listeners?
The comments, yes. The future for me, I see everything I oppose coming more and more real. And the more what I oppose is come real, the more I talk about open the borders, be open arm, be human, anti-nationalistic, anti-patriotic, liberal, and pacifistic is my fight.
Yeah, I really see that though, especially with you're saying where we've got that collapse coming, or it's definitely, we're in a huge transitional time. And I've even seen that with a lot of people personally. There's so many endings right now. People are being forced into different ways to go. It's just everyone's kind of heading to where they need to be, or hopefully need to be.
Yes. It's scary but challenging, but in the challenge there is opportunity. This is the important lesson of challenges.
And it's always usually for the better, because if something's pushing you out, you don't want to be there anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that new horizons. Especially too with nature, as you were saying before, because so many people view nature as how they can help nature to continue to help themselves instead of living in that balance, that true balance. Not how I need to help nature for our survival, but for the whole survival.
Yeah, we are all connected. So, I mean, we're already seeing it. Something happening in one country, and all the rest of the world is affected by it. Sooner or later, it will be. So,
I just like.
And now the problems we have to face, like all the ambient problem, the temperature rising and everything, the dying of the sea and everything, matter like that are very, very important. But they cannot be solved by single nation. They can be solved by humanity. We have to solve it all together because it's the only option we have.
Interesting. Is there any last message you want to give to the listeners? Something spontaneously, something that comes up in you like a moment of art?
Just explore life. Be happy, explore life. It's the most beautiful thing you can explore in all its facets. Read a book that you never read. Watch a movie that you've never seen. Explore something that you think you don't like. Challenge yourself. This is the most important thing. Challenge yourself.
That's great advice, Andrea.
It's difficult, but I love to. I try to stick to it.
Thank you very much for your time.
No, it was a pleasure. I really loved our chat and everything. It's completely different from what I expected, so I love it. I thought it was something technical about occultism and the technicality of it. At the end, it was a very philosophical, very
we just had a flow.
I was very friendly. I love it, so it's great.
Well, we're going for around the kitchen table, just how bringing together the minds, just exploring whatever happens.
Exactly. Oh, I love it. Maybe one day we will do it really around a real table with
Yeah.
in the same book. It would be even better.
I like the idea of the tableau vivant always. That you would step in the real. So, and that was funny. I was thinking, Andrea, he had a different fly route, so he came for a whole broad spectrum, philosophy and all that, to cartomancy, and I went the other way around from cartomancy. I say, oh, there's more than cards. I look up and step in the tableau vivant, so I go the other way around.
Yes, indeed. Hey, welcome to my world. Now I just finished to reprint this is the first copy of the reprint of the Ghastly Lenormand. I managed to have the black handlines and everything is the second edition that is a little bit different. I created an introduction, a different introduction and everything. And now the printing process has started and I'm looking forward to do the communication and delivery to the world because a lot of people ask me, we want the book, but I have only the digital booklet version now because I finished all the books. So
no, I did get the book from the last one. So is that on Kickstarter again, or are you?
No. I reprinted it using my savings and everything. Like I did the Discombobulator in the same way. I said, okay, I will invest my resources. I believe in the project. I will do it, and I move on. A big challenge, so let's see.
Definitely. But just for buy it, like on your website then? That's where it'll be for sale?
It will be on my website after the London conference, the Tarot London conference. So it's the 9 and 10. So let's say for the 12, 13 of October, I will open the gate and people can be able to buy physical or digital copy of the Discombobulator. And I already started to create the second one. I already doing interviews and collecting articles and themes and ideas, and it will be wow. It will be very, very great.
I'm excited. Definitely.
Me too. Me too. I love it. I really love it.
Yeah, I'll definitely grab a copy. I like physical copies of books, obviously.
No, me too. I have the digital too. I have copies of everything, but for me, the physicality of the book is the magic.
Yes. Yeah, the smells. I was actually telling them that everyone smells different, get the energies different, and tarot decks too.
No, thank you so much. And have a good day, a good night. It depends on which part of the world you are, and see you soon. See you next.
Thank you very much, Andrea. It was a very inspiring talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All the luck that you deserve, and that is many.
Thank you so much, and see you soon. Thank you to you.
Bye.
Bye.